Good morning, I'm Terry. Welcome to TARDIS Spider. Today, Pertwee's Morality Tales. One of the criticisms of the most recent era of Doctor Who is how heavy-handed they have been in their storytelling when trying to get a political type message across. Well, the John Pertwee era was full of stories like this, and very seldom is it accused of being heavy-handed. In fact, they have some wonderful stories that include a strong political message. So let's take a quick overview of them, and maybe you can find one you would like to watch. So now, Pertwee's Morality Tales. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Until recent seasons, it had been fairly argued that the Third Doctor's era was the most moral in the history of the series. This is largely to do with the influence of Barry Letts and Terrance Dicks, the script editor and producer. They were both extremely keen in this particular approach to storytelling. The Ambassadors of Death would be the first highly moralistic story, with its portrayal of the destructiveness of xenophobia, a hatred for the unlike. The Silurians before it had been a highly emotive story in the same vein, trying to teach that just because a creature is different doesn't mean that it is automatically evil or hostile. The idea in that story that we should share our planet with those who inhabited it before was a revolutionary one, put forward in a beautiful, rational, and reasonable way by the Doctor. Human pettiness would interfere, and the Brigadier would blow up the Silurian base. The Doctor had failed to make humans understand, and the audience was left suitably chastised by the downbeat ending, with a depressed and disillusioned Doctor and Liz Shaw watching the carnage below them. Inferno would explore the dangers of meddling with the unknown, and opened with a special theme of early 70s Doctor Who morality tales: the hatred of bureaucracy and political maneuvering. The production team's contempt for both of these elements came clearly to the fore in stories like Terror of the Autons and especially The Sea Devils, which, apart from the returning to the theme of the Silurians, portrayed an unpleasant and obnoxious ministry official, capable of sending men to their deaths while eating a hearty breakfast. The character of the Master was another way in which the moral approach of the era of this program was crystallized. He was so clearly the foil to the Doctor's Sherlock Holmes that the title hero was forced into delivering many, and often unsubtle, moral speeches to his opponent. The Mind of Evil was an excellent moral tale of the nature of prisons and prison control, extolling the virtues of humanity in dealing with criminals, though far removed from realism. At least it allowed the series to consider a moral matter close to home in an unfamiliar medium. Colony in Space was a typically moral Malcolm Hulke script revealing the persecution of colonists by the authorities. This dramatic theme was returned to in the colonial satire of The Mutants, which really was a moral tour de force for the Who team. This story was one of the best, a scathing indictment of the British colonial practices and an almost direct parody of bigotry in mankind. Likewise, Terry Nation's Planet of the Daleks was a lengthy, though much less successful script, against the glorification of war and its paper heroes. Here, the morality reached embarrassingly awful levels of cliché and is only put into perspective by the superb pollution satire in the following script, The Green Death, with its ecological fears. Pertwee's final season brought a heavily accented strand of morality that wasn't quite as successful as the 4 seasons which preceded it. In The Invasion of the Dinosaurs, it explored how naive those are who wish for a golden age in our own time, but who seek artificial methods to achieve their goals. Coming again from Malcolm Hulke, the writer whose previous season story, Frontier in Space, had been so forceful on the human traits of suspicion and exploitation, the story would return to this familiar ground, but it lacked the punch of the author's previous Doctor Who entries. Terry Nation's Death to the Daleks was a simple extension of all of the author's many dramatic cliches, and wasn't helped by a rather bad execution. The Doctor would make a friend of an ugly alien called Bel-Al, an obvious message better achieved in the 1960s. John Pertwee finished his tenure with one of the most crucial stories of all of the program's philosophies, exploring his own attitude to his own mortality. Throughout the series run, the lead character has been, by the nature of the plots, been subject to the most appalling danger and dire straits galore. Pertwee's was the most distressing death of all of the Doctors to date, and in 1974 it had a profound effect when framed by this final story, Planet of the Spiders, which was all about finding oneself and coming to terms with life and death. As the Doctor himself says, "I had to face my own fear. That was more important than just staying alive." The Terrance Dicks, Barry Letts, John Pertwee era of Doctor Who proved one thing: the morality tale can be told, and it can be told well within a story. So enjoy Doctor Who, enjoy your journey through time and space, and please never, ever forget, a child cannot have a favorite book if they do not have one. Give a child a book today. Good night.